Y'all not gonna believe me when I say this, but in all honesty, what I do to make $1,000 per day is the exact same thing that I did when I was making $1,000 in a month. The only difference is that I had a clear understanding of how much effort, how much time, and how much money it was going to take me to get that result quicker versus it being spanned out across a 30-day period. Hey guys, it's Jan Shartay and I'm back again with another video. So today's video is going to be super cool because I am just going to give you guys gems. I'm giving you all the tea, all the things you need to know about what it takes to really be able to make big amounts of money in e-commerce. The things that I'm going to be sharing with you guys in this video are really things that these internet coaches and gurus would not dare give to you for free. I am going to be giving y'all the tea for $0 today. So if you have been struggling to make sales, and more importantly, to make sales consistently, or maybe you're just struggling to even understand what you're supposed to be doing, this video is for you. So before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe, and let's get into it. Welcome to my channel where we talk about boutiques, e-commerce, business, and all things making money online. So I titled the live today, Why You Aren't Making at least $1,000 per day, because in all honesty, none of us start businesses just because we want something to do. Not this kind of business, the kind where you had to spend money up front to get inventory that you didn't actually know you were going to actually be able to sell, or, you know, having to pay Shopify every single month, not knowing whether or not you were going to actually get a sale, or running them ads and being like, I spent all this money on these ads and where's my money back? At least breaking even. None of us started these businesses to just be out here frolicking in flowers, praying for the best. We started this business to make money. And so when I talk to a lot of my students and, you know, people that are thinking about working with me and things like that, I always ask them, what's their goal? And in all honesty, most people tell me they don't have a goal. If you're one of those people, raise your hand. If you don't have a goal for 2023, raise your hand in the comments. I'm not going to judge you today. Today, I'm not going to judge you. But most people tell me that they don't have a goal. And the other half of the group usually tell me some just, you know, off the wall number that sounds good to everybody. They always say, oh, I want to make $100,000. I want to make at least $100,000. And I always find it so funny because I'll speak for myself. My last job, I made just over $30,000 a year, maybe like $33,000, $36,000 or something like that per year. And so when I started my business, yeah, I would love to make more than that. But in all honesty, I was like, I really just want to be able to pay my bills. Like, I don't have a job anymore. When I started my business, my job went out of business. My last two jobs went out of business. So I decided to not go back to work. I decided to be a full-time entrepreneur. So I was just like, you know what? I just want to be able to pay my bills and, you know, learn as I go. If I make money, I make money, obviously. So I always find it ironic that people are like, $100,000. I'm like, what would you do with $100,000? If you had $100,000, what would you do with it? So at some point in my business, I decided that I would be okay if I figured out how to make $1,000 per week. And then it became, or actually, I'm sorry, I wanted to figure out how to make $1,000 per month first because I didn't know what I was doing. And then once I figured out how to make at least $1,000 per month, I was like, okay, what can I do to make $1,000 per week? And then I started making $1,000 per week. And I'm like, okay, what can I do to make $1,000 per day? And y'all not going to believe me when I say this, but in all honesty, what I do to make $1,000 per day is the exact same thing that I did when I was making $1,000 in a month. The only difference is that I had a clear understanding of how much effort, how much time, and how much money it was going to take me to get that result quicker versus it being spanned out across a 30-day period. So I want to say 2020. I think 2020 was the first year where I wasn't making $1,000 per day consistently, but it was like $1,000 every other day. Like every couple of days, it was like $1,000. This is crazy. Like I had started to make more money in a day than I sometimes made in, you know, a 2-week period. at my previous full-time job. So I was regular, schmegular girl, still am regular, schmegular girl. And somehow along the journey, I figured out, I don't want to call it a cheat code. I figured out what e-commerce is, how it works, and what's most important for you to be able to make money in your business. So let me stop sharing this. Hold on. Let me figure out how to stop sharing this. Okay, there we go. So I have four questions that I want to ask you guys. All right, so just answer them in the comments. If you have the answer, give me your answer. If you don't, that's okay, because I'm going to explain anyway. So first question, this is going to go into me explaining like why you ain't making at least $1,000 per day. Why I used to not make at least $1,000 per day. So first question being, what does your process usually look like when preparing to drop a new product or collection? Do you even have a process? So yes or no. Do you have a process in place for when you are preparing? Not when you drop it. You might be like, oh, I dropped my new arrivals at 12 o'clock on a Monday. Like, what's your process for leading up to dropping a new collection or a new product? Do you have a process for that? So this is a huge element to why so many people can't make $1,000 per day. If I'm being honest, y'all, sometimes I make $1,000 in a couple minutes. And it's not because I'm selling anything special. Y'all know what I sell. I sell sweatpants and tank tops. They cost $14. I ain't selling nothing special. But sometimes on a very good day, I make $1,000 in a couple minutes. And the reason for that is because I have a process in place for leading up to when I drop something. So when I'm getting ready to drop something, I'm not like, I got the inventory on Friday. I took the pictures on Friday. I'm dropping that inventory on Saturday. And me dropping it is me making an announcement on Instagram like, new arrivals drop today. Click the link in our bio to shop now. In my eyes, or in my brain, in my world, that is what's called, what is it called? Falling on deaf ears. Nobody is waiting for you. Nobody cares. They don't care. You might have, you know, a small handful of people that constantly and consistently support your business. But I always think about that big number. I got 31,000 followers on my page. If I drop a new arrival or whatever today with no like pre-warning or nothing like that, the same people that always support, the same people that always like, the same people that always comment, those are going to be the people that buy. And 9 times out of 10, I'm going to make the same amount of money that I would make on a regular day. I don't want to do that. So I always have a process in place for what it looks like for me to drop something. And the biggest part of that is lead generation. Lead generation is the most important element of e-commerce. Why? Because if you can get someone's contact information, that means that you can contact them about whatever you would like to contact them about whenever you feel like it. So email, I'm going to start with email, for example. I always say if someone has given you their email address, it's just like you giving your phone number to a cute boy. If you give your real number, I mean your real number, not your fake number, not your fake number, because I used to give out fake numbers. If you give your real number to a boy, you are saying, I am okay with you contacting me, right? You're saying, I'm okay with you texting me. I'm okay with you calling me. You didn't give him any stipulation of like, you need to call me between this time and this time. You can only call me on these days. You didn't say none of that. You said, here's my phone number. Do with that what you shall. Email is the same thing. When they put their email address into that box, they are saying, hey, I like your business enough to allow you to contact me. And it's just like a phone number. If and when I get tired of hearing from you, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to block you. I'm going to unsubscribe, whatever I need to do to get out of this circumstance, you know? So lead generation is the most important element of business. Y'all, on average, like 30%, I've read a bunch of reports. They all say different things. I've read, 25%, 25 to 30%, 40%, so on and so forth. So let's say anywhere between 25 and 40% of the average e-commerce business's revenue comes from email marketing. If you are not prioritizing lead generation, you also are not prioritizing email marketing. I'm just going to put that oh so frankly. If you are not prioritizing collecting email addresses and phone numbers, you actually don't really give a care about email marketing in your business. And you probably don't understand the power of email marketing in your business. So going back to my process. So before I launch something, I let my audience know this is what's coming. I always have people ask me, what do I share? Like when I'm getting ready to launch my business, like what do I post? And I always say your products. You want to post the products because you want to get them excited. You want to prepare them for what's to come. I don't know about y'all, but I don't always have money for the things that I want to buy in that day. Like, I would be pissed off. I'm gonna use Beyonce as an example. If Beyonce just randomly on a Tuesday decided she was dropping them tickets, they was available that day, that very day, and I didn't have the money to get my Beyonce ticket, I would have been livid. So instead of her being like, tickets are available right now, today, in this moment, guess what they do? They say, tickets are going to be available on this day, this time. Click here. You can join this list to get first access. You can join this list to be the first to know, or whatever the case, whatever they say. That's lead generation. They're saying, hey, and also, let me add this. They're also saying, even if you don't buy Beyonce's ticket, we now have your email address. So when I don't know who else, Miley Cyrus, I don't know why Miley Cyrus just came to my brain, but when whomever else is going on tour in your city, we gonna send you an email about that too. Ticketmaster be blowing my daggone email up. They be like, we see you didn't buy the Lil Baby ticket, but Lil Wayne is coming. Are you interested in that? They don't care. They like, we just need your email address. So it's not a matter of, oh, I gotta get this money today. Today is the day I have to get this money. It should always be, today is the day that I need to collect as many email subscribers as possible, because even if you don't purchase today, you might want to purchase from me 5 days from now, 7 days from now, 30 days from now. Collecting email addresses is not about what you can get from them today. It's about what you can get from them for, you know, the longevity of the relationship that they have with your business. When I think about email marketing, literally, I think of it as like a cash cow. I think of it as like the thing that I use when I need money. I don't go run into Instagram when I need money. I don't go run into Instagram when I'm like, oh, I'm not making my sales goal today. Why? Because I don't control Instagram. That algorithm is not in favor of any of us. It don't care what you do. It don't care how well or how good your content looks. It doesn't care how many times you post in a day. It does not care. The only thing Facebook and Instagram cares about is if you paying them, if we're being honest. The algorithm does not favor any of us. So I would be a crazy person to always run to Instagram when I need money, because I can't actually rely on Instagram to make sure, like, as a matter of fact, there is no matter of fact, that I am going to actually get in front of my 31,000 followers. So I would much rather spend all my time and energy trying to collect email subscribers on Instagram versus trying to sell my products on Instagram. Because I don't know. Let me see. I'm about to look. The last post that I shared, again, I have 31,000 followers, y'all. Just to give you perspective, I have 31,000 followers. The last post that I shared 3 hours ago has 36 likes, 2 of them being me, because I liked it from this page and my like personal page. So 34 likes. The post before that has 154 likes, but that's out of 31,000 people. I don't care if you, I could care less if you had liked this post. I could care less if you had commented on this post. I could care less. Are you on my email list? Because you are going to get an email today. Are you on my text list? Because you're going to get a text from me today. Like, in all honesty, I care way more about that than I do anything else. When I look at my stories, just to give you a comparison of how things work on Instagram, this last post has 36 likes on it, right? When I look at my stories get anywhere between 1,500 and 3,000 views per day. Your stories are where your existing audience lives. Not to say that all 31,000 of my followers are going to see my stories, but I do have the understanding that my stories is where the real magic is occurring. My stories is where I can collect email subscribers pretty easily. I can collect them through my feed as well, but it's a lot easier, you know, through that question box and all that stuff. So much easier to do that through my stories. So I use my stories a lot leading up to me launching something. I always show them what's coming. I tell them what colors are coming. I tell them what sizes are coming. I ask them questions. I'm like, what size are you getting? What color are you getting? Because that gives me some perspective around like what to continue to market super heavily, what to pull back on, what I might need to order more of because I didn't order enough because I was too scared. I still be scared to order a lot of inventory to this day. I use my stories so much because I understand that I'm going to get way better results talking to people in my stories than I do on my feed. And I don't know why that's the case. I have no idea. I don't work for Instagram, but I have learned that through studying what occurs when I do this versus when I do that. So, point number one, you need a process. You need a process for when you are dropping new products and new collections, and more importantly, you need to prioritize lead generation. Point blank, period. Okay? Question number two. Feel free to drop it in the chat or just linger in your brain. Question number two, how do you know that there are people waiting to purchase your products? How do you know that you have the right quantity, the right colors, the right sizes, etc.? 9 times out of 10, you have no idea because you logged into Fashion Go or LA Showroom or Orange Shine or Fair or whatever, and you just started adding things to your cart. You logged into the websites and you went to the new arrivals for the day. You went to the best sellers of the week. You started adding things to your cart. You bought whatever you wanted to buy with no real justification. You didn't think about the pricing. You didn't think about the marketing. You didn't think about your target audience. You didn't think about how you were going to style. You didn't thought about nothing other than the fact that somebody else was selling it, or it's the best seller, or it's brand new and you think you're going to be the first to have it. So I'm going to read the question again. The question is, how do you know that there are people waiting to purchase your products? That's the most important part here. We'll circle back to the second part. So another great element of prioritizing lead generation is it gives me an idea of how many people are waiting to purchase this product. So if I say sign up for this email list to get notified when this product drops, I don't know about y'all, but I'm not going to sign up for your email list if I'm not interested in knowing when this product drops. But if I sign up for the email list because you said sign up for it because that's the only way that I'm going to be the first to know when the product drops. Hello? So literally every single time I'm getting ready to drop new arrivals, I say, let me collect email subscribers so that I can give myself an idea of how many people want what I'm getting ready to drop. Point blank, period. Now, I'm not going to get too deep into email marketing, but there are other ways that you can even get more clear about like what colors they want, what sizes they want, what products they're most and least interested in. There's a ton of different ways to go about that. But the large majority of boutique owners have no idea how many people actually want what they're about to drop. They have no idea. I was talking about how I'm still sometimes scared to buy a lot of inventory. So now, thankfully, I have like a little nest egg, I guess you could call it, of like inventory dollars, like money set aside for inventory. So what I often do is buy 1 pack of something. Yeah, I buy 1 pack of something. I take them pictures, post it on my stories, let them know this is what's coming, let them sign up for the emails, and then I can go back and say, okay, I got 150 people signed up to get notified when this product drops. I could even go as far as saying like, you know, comment in this box and tell us what size you're getting, just to give me the perspective of sizing. And now I can go back to the vendor. Now, this don't always work. Sometimes the things are sold out and things like that. But now I can go back before it drops and say, hi, Mr. Vendor person, I need to order 5 more packs of this. I need to order 6 more packs of this. Instead of me putting all my money into some inventory that I don't actually know my audience wants to begin with. I would much rather have some idea of your level of interest in what's about to occur. Because also I could pivot. If I see that you're not that interested, okay, well, let me go back to something that has already worked. Especially if I know that my potential ability to reach my goal is going to be tied up in what else I can sell this month. If y'all ain't that interested in it, baby, let me go back to something that y'all are. I'm going to be like, okay, so should we restock this whatever? Let me know if we should restock, because I'm about to restock if we need to restock instead of me putting all my money into something new. Going off topic here. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't have it in my brain. But so many boutique owners get so stuck on the idea of launching new things constantly. You can launch new things, but it ain't got to be 17 new things every day, every week, every month. The largest percentage of my revenue comes from the same 5 products that I've been selling for 2.5 years. 2.5 years. I am never like, you know what? I'm sick of that. I'm sick of talking about that. I'm sick of posting about that. I'm sick of sending emails about that. I literally look at my analytics. I see 6 figures worth of sales for 5 products, just 5. I've sold hundreds of things. But when I go and, you know, divvy up my my inventory dollars, my budget, I'm not like, okay, I'm going to spend 90% of my budget on new things and 10% on the things that y'all love. I'm like, I'm going to spend like 60% of this budget on things that y'all love, things that I know for a fact. Y'all are going to buy things that I know I've collected years worth of reviews for, things that I know I can, you know, utilize user generated content for, things like that. Because it's going to be so much easier for me to sell that than it is for me to sell something that you ain't never seen before. I got to justify everything. I'm going to have to do so much work to convince you that this thing is worth you purchasing. And I don't have time for that. I don't want to do that. In this season of life, I don't really care to be the boutique with new arrivals every day. I don't really care to be the boutique that drops however many new things per week. I don't care. What I care about is making money. I'm just going to be very frank and very honest. What I care about is making money. I would like to pay my bills. I would like to take nice trips. I would like to buy myself another car. I don't know why, but I want another car. I want to do things like that. I don't care about Instagram. I hope Instagram don't cut me off. I don't care about any of that. It don't make sense. I don't care. I want to make money. That's it. So if I know for a fact that this thing is going to make me money, I'm going to keep selling that over and over again. Over and over and over. I'm going to keep recycling. Content, even with the content. I've invested so much money into content over the last couple of years. And now that I'm at the point where I sell a lot of the same things over and over again, I can repurpose that content over and over again. I go to my photo shoots and be like, I mean, we can take a fresh photo if we want. We can put it on a different body. We can put it on a different size model, but we ain't got to. Because I already got the content and it's good quality. It's going to keep working. There's a saying that like when you find something that works, you do more of it. That applies in business. When you find something that makes you money, that means it works. You do more of that. You sell more of that. You don't pull back on that. That does not make sense. It's almost like starting over. If you're like, I no longer want to sell this best-selling item because I'm tired of it, you're literally saying, I'm okay with starting over. I'm okay with starting up from scratch and trying to build your trust all over again. I'm okay with trying to convince you that this thing is worth you spending money on. Y'all, I literally have people that come to my store and buy 4 pairs of black leggings in the same transaction. Why? I don't know, but they do. Why? Because I've been selling that same product for oh so long and they know what to expect. There's no level of unexpectedness. They're like, I know that I love these already. I know that I wear black leggings 3 times a week. I need 4 more pair. Love that for me. I ain't have to do no work. I can literally put it, going back to email, because all this connects. I can literally put together email automations that say, send an email to anyone who has purchased a black pair of leggings in the last 60 days. And I can, or however many days, and I can create an email that's going to be specific to them based off of what they purchased and say, girl, it's been 60 days since you bought your last pair of black leggings, and let's be honest, you probably have washed them 27 times by now. It's time to get a fresh pair. And you know what? Because we love you, today we're going to let you get 2 for the price of, I don't know, $20 or whatever. Email marketing is so powerful, y'all. But inventory strategy is even more powerful. Point blank, period. Okay? So the first half of that question was, do you know how many people are waiting to purchase from you? The second half of that question is, how do you know that you have the right quantity, the right colors, the right sizes, etc.? Your data will tell you that. So if you don't know how to read your data, shameless plug. There's a whole lesson inside my membership about reading your analytics. There's also like a 45-minute long video on my YouTube channel about how I've read my analytics to make better decisions in my business so that I can make more money. Watch those, honestly and truly. My analytics tell me all I need to know about colors, sizes, price point. It tells me everything, but you wouldn't know that if you don't know how to read them. You wouldn't know that if you don't even take the time to attempt to learn how to read them. When I look at my average order value, when I look at, my sell-through rate, which is one of the questions we're going to get to in a second. When I look at all of those things, all of those elements of my business are helping me to make decisions around colors, sizes, pricing, how much I should spend on a product versus how much I should not spend on a product. I know, quite frankly, I ain't got no business based on data. I have no business going into any of those wholesale websites and buying a product that costs more than probably $19. Why? Because I'm not going to be able to sell it at a profit margin that makes sense for me and that makes sense for my customer. It just ain't gonna work. The only way it would work would be if I say, you know what, I'm okay with making double what I paid. And I'm not, because I got expenses. I got a lot of them at this point. I got bills that need to be paid. My rent costs as much as my mortgage. No, I can't do that. So I have to literally go into buying inventory with it in mind. How much is the maximum that I can spend on a piece of inventory so that I can get my desired profit margin and also price it in a way that makes sense for my customer. I also have to take into consideration like seasonality, because what sells well in spring, those lightweight biker shorts cost $2.90. But then in the fall, I got sweaters that cost $15. I got to make sure that all of that makes sense for myself and for my customer. And your data will tell you that, especially if you have years worth of data, you should be using that years worth of data to help you make decisions, honestly and truly. Okay, so third question is, do you typically have enough content to last 14 to 30 days if the product doesn't sell well or sell as quickly as you imagine it would? Most people do not. Most people have one photo shoot and they take, I don't know about y'all. I still use my phone on occasion. For the new arrivals we dropped today, I use my iPhone for those. So most people take, they do their photo shoot, but then we go through all the pictures and we only like 2. And then we post them too on New Arrivals Day. And then we like, okay, well, why the merchandise still here? Like, what am I supposed to do now? People literally will come to my inbox and say, well, what am I supposed to do now? You either are going to keep posting that same content or you're going to create some new content. There's no in between. So I don't count how many pictures I took or anything like that. Thankfully, I have a photographer that gives me the whole folder of photos, so I have them. But all I know is I got content galore. I mean, I have so much content that I was just going back through, let me see, I started working with him in the end of 2020. So I literally have 2021, 2.5 years worth of pictures. And if we go back to the fact that a lot of the products that I sell are things that I've sold for a long time, that means I have multiple options to choose from. So it's important. It's important that you don't limit yourself in the content area of your business, because you have no idea how long it's going to take you to sell the inventory that you have. You have no idea if that first post is going to go viral. You have no idea if that first post is going to do great or if it's going to take some time. You have no idea. So I literally my rule of thumb is create until I don't feel like creating anymore. And then when and if I get to the point where I posted it all, I know that I need to now create new. When I do my photo shoots, I bring my new arrivals, but I also go through my old merchandise and I bring anything that I think is worth rephotographing. I never tell myself, oh, my customers just don't like this. We need some fresh content. Before I go putting it at 70% off, before I go making the whole website 50% off, I am going to do my due diligence as a brand owner and recreate or create some fresh content to give my audience a new perspective. Because I always say that what works for one person may not work for another. So, for example, some people love Reels. Some people literally log onto Instagram and they go straight to the Reels tab and they just look at Reels all day. And then other people, they literally go and just swipe through their feed. Some people only go through their stories. So I always remind myself, like, some people need text on top of it, on top of an image. Some people need to see it in movement or emotion. Some people are like, I need all the details directly on top of the image because I'm not going to read your caption. Some people need to see it on a different body. That was one of the biggest reasons why I stopped modeling. I'm 5 feet tall. I don't know if anybody knew that. Well, the people that know me, y'all know. I am 5 feet tall. And yeah, I'm a tiny type. So people used to ask me all the time, is this tall girl friendly? I quite frankly have no idea because I'm 5 feet tall. It fit me. I don't know. So even the questions that people were asking me let me know I needed to photograph it differently. I needed to showcase it differently. I needed to go find somebody else's body to put it on. Somebody else that was taller. Somebody else that had a different body type. It just did not make sense. For those of us who don't sell basics, how do we continue selling the same products? You just continue selling the same products. Think about any store that you go into that has the same products, has a section of their store that has always been, the products in that section has always been there. It's more so just making a conscious decision to say, I understand that this is a product that I'm okay with my brand being known for, or this is a product that has constantly and consistently generated revenue for my business, and therefore I'm going to keep this in front of my audience and just create fresh content with it. So it's not about what you sell. That doesn't dictate whether or not you can continue to sell something. It's more so about you having a plan for how you're going to continue to sell it, how you're going to continue to market to your audience. Okay, so this last question that I have is, what is your average sell-through rate? So someone actually just asked me a question about sell-through in my membership, I want to say yesterday. And it kind of triggered me to know that like I need to talk about that more. So sell-through is basically, it's an equation that will tell you how quickly you sell your inventory on average. And it's usually calculated based off of a 30-day period. So for example, most people don't have enough inventory in general to be able to make $1,000 per day at all. You don't have enough. To calculate the value of your inventory, you are going to basically add the prices of all the inventory in your possession, and that's going to tell you the value. So when you let's say you have 6 $20 products, you're selling those products for $20. The value of that inventory, those 6 pieces, is $120 to your business. So people will be like, okay, well, I have $1,000 worth of inventory because I have 7 styles and I have 6 of each, right? Cool. However, what we fail to consider is oftentimes when we drop new inventory, your audience don't like everything. There's usually like a couple things out of the bunch that people are like, I want that. I want that. When's that coming back? Why is that sold out? Why you keep showing me this? Like people be under my ads like, why am I seeing an ad if this is sold out? Hate it. But people, they don't like everything. So while we may have $1,000 worth of inventory collectively, we typically don't have $1,000 worth of the right inventory. We got $1,000 spread out across 7 styles. We only got 6 of each. We only got 2 smalls, 2 mediums, and 2 larges. And that, quite frankly, is just not enough. And I know y'all will say, well, my budget is limited. I don't have very much money. What I am saying is that it does not make sense for you to spread a very small budget across a bunch of things. It makes so much more sense for you to, like I said earlier, test the product. Hey guys, this is what we're getting ready to drop. This is what's coming. This is what's coming. These are the other colors that we're thinking about getting. Let us know, which color you're getting, which color you love, so on and so forth, so that you can go back and get more of the same thing versus you trying to spread wide. A lot of you guys know that I work with the inventory strategist. Her name is Darlene. So when I first started working with Darlene, she would give me the example of people buying wide versus people buying, wide versus long. I think it's long versus wide. So most boutique owners make the mistake of buying wide, meaning that they buy a whole bunch of styles, but they don't have, deep is deep. So most boutique owners buy wide. They buy a whole bunch of styles, but they don't have a large quantity of those styles. And so their audience is like, the things that I like are sold out, and I'm not going to buy anything else because the thing that I actually want is sold out. There's nothing that you can say and there's nothing that you can do to make me want that. And I don't know why, but people don't understand that. They're like, how do I make more people buy? You cannot make someone buy something that they don't want. You cannot make someone like something that they don't like. You have to have so much like true, what word am I looking for? You have to have like confidence. You have to have like the deepest level of confidence that every decision that you made inventory wise was made quite literally with your target audience in mind. And you're doing yourself a disservice by trying to go wide because you have no idea. You about to go wide and they're going to go real narrow on you. They're going to be like, we like this. We like these 2 and you got 12. I hate that for you. So Darlene used to say, she used to tell me, don't buy wide, buy deep. And so buying deep means staying narrow in number of styles, but buying more of that style because it's so much easier for you to keep the flow of your revenue through your business when you are selling the same thing over and over again versus trying to make people like things that they don't care about. When you think about like your content, for example, I'll use my content for example. When I look at my content, there are like the same things that perform well content-wise. Some stacks of sweatpants. If I throw anything else in between it, it's like, that's cool, but when are the sweatpants coming back? They're like, oh, I like that. I like this t-shirt. I like this cardigan. I like this tank top. But when are the sweatpants coming back? So once I realized that was the case, I realized, okay, I need to buy deep in sweatpants. So that's why sweatpants have been like my #1 seller for the last couple years, because I understood that I needed to buy deep in sweatpants. That's what y'all love. Let me keep it real deep over there. We got lots of those. I ain't got a lot right now. I need to drop some. But yes, so most people don't have, they may have $1,000 worth of inventory, but they don't have $1,000 worth of the right inventory. They spread whatever budget they had super wide across a bunch of things when they should have went deep rather than wide. Okay. So going back to sell through. So sell through is basically you being able to know on average what percentage of your inventory do you sell out of in a 30-day period of time. So my average sell through is somewhere between 65 and 70%. Actually, I'm sorry, 60 and 65%. So that means that, for example, if I drop 100 pieces of merchandise in a month's time, on average, I sell 60 to 65 of those pieces in a month. So the equation to calculate your sell through is going to be, oh, I might have this backwards. It is the number of units that you sold divided by the number of units that you purchased, and then times 100, and that'll give you your percentage, your sell-through rate. So on average, I sell 60 to 65% of my inventory in a month. So what can I do with that information? Well, one, I'm not going to go into the month having the expectation that I sell out of everything. I don't do that because I understand that that's just not typically how retail works. I want to say, in retail terms, a 75% sell-through rate is average. That's considered good. 75. If you sell 75% of your inventory in a month's time, you're golden. So I'm below average. However, with that understanding, it helps me to make decisions around like how many to buy of one thing, how few to buy of another thing. Okay, well, if I'm not going to be able to sell the quantity that I want, let me make sure that I price things the way that they need to be priced. I price things in a way that will allow my inventory to be valued at a dollar amount that will hopefully yield the revenue that I would like to collect in my business. So I've learned to look at my analytics in a way that it's not just me reading Shopify and saying, oh, my average order value was this, and I got this much traffic, and this is my return customer rate. So next month, I just want to increase it. Like we usually go into it, we're like, okay, well, this was my average order value is $45. So next month, I want it to be at least $55. I don't look at my analytics like that. I look at my analytics and I try to determine what impacted my analytics looking that way. Why was my average order value this amount? Why did I receive this amount of traffic? Was it more or less than the previous month? Where did the traffic come from? What content drove the most traffic? I'm looking at the analytics to just tell me what happened, what the result was, but then I'm going backwards and reviewing my actions to help me to determine what to do with that information. And that includes my inventory too. I'm looking at my sell through. I'm looking at like what sold super quickly versus what did not sell, what didn't sell at all, what sold slowly versus fast, so on and so forth. And I'm using that as a basis of decision making when I go to buy inventory in the future. So you said a long time ago to not be proud of being sold out, and that shit changed my life. Yes, girl. Don't be, no. So the only thing that has helped me to like really understand that, if y'all don't know, I don't believe in being sold out. When I get so upset when I go to a website and the first 7 products are sold out, I'm like, what is this? Like, what? That don't make sense, baby. You want my money or not? So when I worked in retail, I come from a traditional retail background. I worked at a lot of places. I'm not going to name them all. I worked at a lot of places. There was not one store that I've ever worked at that had an empty store. I mean, I've literally watched, like, I'll just go back to my very first job ever. My very first job ever was at Forever 21 in 2007. 2007, that was my first job. And one of the biggest things that I remembered was seeing people like clear off a rack, but seeing that rack get filled again in that same day. It wasn't like, oh my God, we sold out of a whole rack today. We're going to wait till our new inventory gets here on whatever days. There was stuff in the back and they were like, fill it, restock it, call another store, tell them we need some more. Like, there was no such thing as being sold out. Black Friday, we would clear out racks and we would be bringing more racks out. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And so even though I had no desire or knowledge of boutique or wholesale, I didn't know none of that back then. When I started a business, I was like, okay, Jance, you can't be sold out. That don't make sense. The only reason that these businesses keep making money is because they have something to constantly sell to these people. And we often trick ourselves into believing like, well, I have all this unsold inventory. That means that I have things to sell to these people, and that means that I should not buy new inventory. But y'all heard me say earlier that I have like a little nest egg of an inventory budget. I always have money sitting around for inventory, because just because something hasn't sold out doesn't mean that I don't need to buy more inventory. I'll give you an example. So when my sweatpants sell out and, you know, I'm waiting for the vendor to get more or whatever, I have to replace those sales with something. I have the understanding that a certain percentage of my sales is going to come from bottoms every single month. If I don't have sweatpants, my sales are going to decrease. So I have to replace it with something. So I usually, instead of me being like, well, I'm just going to sit and wait for the vendor to drop the sweatpants again, I'm like, okay, let me go buy some leggings, or let me go buy some biker shorts, or whatever the case may be. And I buy them in a quantity that makes sense for my business, but I'm buying them because I have the understanding that I got tops that aren't selling. And I understand that my tops aren't selling because I don't have any bottoms to go with it, because my best selling bottoms are not here. So instead of me being like, I guess I'm just SOL, I'm like, I have to go find something to replace that with. I have to go find something to push my inventory value back up so that I can make the sales that I desire to make this month. So we over here at the Boutique Academy don't believe in being sold out. We believe in keeping your shelves full, but we also believe in making decisions that will yield profitability in your business. And that means pricing it right, not discounting things super quickly, not making your whole site 50% off on a whim. We make strategic decisions over here at the Boutique Academy, okay? So these are just a few of the things that go into your ability to make at least $1,000 per day. Not only do you need to have at least $1,000 worth of inventory, you need to have $1,000 worth of the right inventory. You should have an email list that you can sell that inventory to. You should have a process in place for how you're going to drop that inventory when it becomes available. You should have a content strategy. You should be looking at your inventory data to help you to make future inventory decisions, future pricing decisions. All of that plays a role in your ability to make money. So for whatever reason, we often psych ourselves into believing like, oh, people don't like my business or blah, 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 blah. Some of y'all have amazing businesses. Some of y'all have amazing products. Some of y'all have, it's great. Y'all just don't know what you're doing. That's it. You don't have a process in place for all these moving parts of your business. You're like, okay, I know I got to collect emails, but I'm relying on my pop-up for that. I know I got to post on social media, but I'm going to post one time a day. I know I got to send emails. I'm going to send one every blue moon. There's so much more that we could be doing as it pertains to marketing, and also being a lot more smart about how we go about selecting our products and pricing our merchandise so that we have inventory that's valued at least $1,000 per day. Now, granted, we're talking about $1,000 per day, right? $1,000 per day in a 30-day month means $30,000 worth of inventory. What that does not mean is $30,000 spent on inventory. This is a pricing decision. So I'm going to just get my little calculator out here. Hold on. Let me see. Do I have that? Yes, I do. So I'm going to give you all an example. So I mentioned at the beginning of the live, I used to make, $100 here and there. And then it became, $1,000 here and there, $5,000, $10,000. And then I got up to the most money I've ever made in a month is $76,000 in my business. And so when I was thinking about, okay, how can I keep increasing my revenue, I was like, okay, I'm going to obviously need more inventory, but I can also be smarter about how I price it. So, for example, let's say that I have $5,000 worth of inventory. So I'm going to just plug this in here real fast. So I have $5,000 worth of inventory. Not only do you want to know what your budget is, you also want to have an idea of what you want your like baseline profit margin to be, like baseline, meaning this is the least amount of profit percentage wise that I will accept for this inventory. So for me, the least that I try not to go below 60%. Sometimes it does, but I try not to go below 60%. So $5,000. So $5,000 is my budget. I'm using an app called Cost Margin, COSTMARGIN. It's an app called Cost Margin, and it's basically a calculator for calculating margins. So what I'm going to do is put in how much money I can afford to spend. And then in the next part, I'm going to put in my desired revenue value. So it's not going to be labeled that way. And this is why you got to learn what numbers impact what. Y'all can't see these words, but this side says cost. This side says price. So price is going to actually be what I want my inventory to be valued at. So I'm like, okay, I want my inventory to be valued at least, let's say I'm like $30,000. I want to make at least $30,000 off of my $5,000 inventory. So what it's going to calculate for me is a percentage. This is my margin. So that would mean that whatever I buy, no matter what I buy, with that $5,000, each product needs to have at least an 83.33% profit margin for me to end up with an inventory value of at least $30,000. Now, I can play around with those numbers. Everything doesn't have to have an 80, like something can have a 90% profit margin if I want, and I could like decrease the margin on something else. But I have the understanding that on average, the margin on this merchandise needs to be at least 83.33% for me to have this budget and to yield this amount of money, or I'm sorry, this amount in inventory value. So when I was like, okay, I made the 2020, I made like $1,400 in January. I made like $2,500 or something like that in February. I went back down to like $1,700 in March. So I made like $7,500 or something like that in that first quarter. And I was like, okay, I came real close to a $10,000 quarter. Like that felt good. I felt like I was doing something. So I was like, the next time that I go, next quarter, I'm like, I have to make $10,000. Y'all, I literally went into April and I made all of the money that I made in quarter one. I made $7,000 something in quarter one. In April alone, I made $7,000 something. Why? Because I was being more careful and strategic about what I spent my money on inventory wise. And I also was using a calculator. Instead of me being like, this is how much money I got to spend and I'm gonna buy whatever I want. I don't care how much it costs. I don't care. I was just, no. I was like, this is how much money I have to spend. This is how much money I want this is how I want my inventory to be valued. Let me calculate that out. So I went from April making $7,500 or $7,000 something dollars. By May I made $12,000. So that was my first 5-figure month. I literally went from January making like $1,200, $1,400 or something like that to a $12,000 month because I was I didn't have email marketing down pat yet. I didn't have text marketing down. I didn't even use text marketing yet. I don't think I started using text marketing until maybe the end of the year. I didn't have none of that down pat. I was like, I can figure this inventory part out. And that's what I did. And that yielded me a $12,000 month. So I was like, okay, I made $12,000. Let's go for 20. Like literally it became a game, y'all. I'm not joking. It became a game. I know how to make $12,000. Let's see if we can make $20,000 next month. Literally the next month I made just over $20,000. I think I made $20,600 something dollars. I'm like, oh no, this is getting way too easy now. And I know it sounds crazy for me to say it was easy, but it was getting easy because I understand that I understood a very, very important element of my business. Inventory strategy, and effective pricing. I was like, I got this in a bag. So then I started focusing on email marketing. I was sending emails, but I wasn't sending them super regularly. I was like most people, I was like, I don't really know what to send emails about. I'm like, I sent the new arrivals email. Like, what else do I send? I don't get it. So at the time, I didn't really understand the power of segmentation. I didn't really understand that, every product that you sell is worthy of its own email, is worthy of its own promotion or promotional efforts. So I started sending more emails. I started segmenting my list based off of like similarities, how much money they spent, what they purchased, how long it's been since they purchased, so on and so forth. I started doing like flash sales specifically for my email list, and it became fun. So it became a game again. I don't know why, but like everything became fun. So I was like, okay, let me see what happens if I send another one. So a lot of times people tell me like, oh, I'm going to send one email a week or whatever. And I'm the type of person, like I look at what I got from one thing and I'm like, okay, let me see what happens if I do that again. So I went from sending like one email a week to, trying to see what happens when I send 2 emails per week. I was running ads, but not super duper consistently back then because my budget wasn't, I was so much more, what word am I looking for? I wanted to spend all my money on inventory. Like I was like, I figured out this inventory thing. I'm gonna put my money back in inventory. I'm gonna spend a little bit on ads, but not much. So at some point in that year, I realized I can use ads to grow my email list. When you log into the ads manager, there is a literal objective that says leads. So we talked about lead generation. So in the Facebook Ads Manager, there is a literal option to choose the objective of leads, meaning I would like this ad to collect email subscribers for me. So I started experimenting with lead generation ads. My email list grew. I started sending traffic to a landing page instead of to my website to collect email addresses. So instead of me saying, go to my website and wait for my pop-up to come up, I was like, go to this link, and the first thing you're going to see is a box that says, sign up for our email list to get 15% off, or whatever it was I was going to give them. I started sending or running ads to tell people about my new arrival drop. So we talked about having a process, right? I literally used to run ads and say, our best-selling whatever is coming back on whatever date. Click the link below to sign up for our email list so you can be the first to know. So I literally was like, a lot of people want their ads to generate money for them and they want that money quick. I was like, I am okay with this ad collecting email subscribers for me. I'm okay with paying for email subscribers because that's essentially what you're doing. But more so because I understood the power of email marketing now. I was like, oh, okay, the more my email list grows and I know why they're signing up or what they're signing up for, I know what I can send them an email about, and ultimately it yield more money for me. So email marketing became a much more consistent part of my business. Then I added text marketing. I didn't really know what to do with it, so I still don't really have a process for it, if I'm being honest. If I send an email, I'm going to send a text. That's my rule. If I send you an email, I'm going to send you a text. So I send them for new arrivals, I send them for sales, I send abandoned cart text messages, I send thank you text messages, I send shipping confirmations, I send browse abandonment text messages. Basically anything I do for email, I have set up for text marketing. So I literally saw my revenue increase even more because now I'm adding another marketing channel. I was no longer only relying on social media. I now had social media marketing, I had email marketing, I had text marketing, and I had paid advertising under my belt. I had 4 methods of marketing under my belt. So I went from a 5-figure year, 2019 was 5 figures. I don't know how much money I made because I didn't collect data back then, but I know I made 5 figures. And then in 2019 was my first full year of business. 2020, I made $216,000. I started using email and text marketing a little bit more consistently at the end of that year. The next year I made $469,000. It just kept growing. I was like, oh. But what kept growing was my understanding of what to spend my money on, what to spend my time on, my understanding that I couldn't put all my eggs into one basket, cough Instagram. I added a mobile app, I think at the end of 2021, or was it 2020? 2020, 2021, somewhere in there, 2020, 2021, which created another sales channel for my business. So me getting more clear about where to spend my time and more importantly, where to spend my money helped me to make more money. People always ask me, how is it possible? Like I literally have had somebody say, I don't think it's possible for someone to start a business with so little money and for it to grow into this big business. So possible. Like literally, let's do the calculations. I've seen people say I had a budget when I first started of $500. They're like, I only have $500 and that was it. So let's say that that's what you start with. You have $500. Let's say you're like, I want my profit margin on my products to be at least 70%. So if you spend $500, you give every single product at least a 70% profit margin. And let's say that on the off chances you're able to sell all of the inventory, you will make $1,666.67. That's $1,666.67 you have to decide what to do with. So let's say you put it all back. I will hope you don't put it all back. That's a mistake I made in the beginning. Don't put it all back. So let's say you put 900 of it back. Hold on, let's see. I'm going to take $900 out of that. So 1,666 minus 67 or 0.67 minus 900. So let's say you kept $766.67 in your bank. You chose to spend $900. So $900 becomes your budget. Let's say you're like, I'm gonna do it 70% again. Or even let's say you say, I'm gonna do 75% this time. 75% margin on a $900 investment yields $3,600 in revenue. So you now have $3,600 in your bank account plus that 766. So you now are up to $4,366.67, and you started with $500. It's possible to start with any amount of money. People, I don't know why people have all the reasons in the world as to why they think that they're not successful. And a lot of people try to, narrow it down to the amount of money that they started with. I 100% disagree, because if we go back to the fact that, there is, more value in buying deep versus wide. If I go deep in a product that is amazing, like people love it, like you sold out of it, you got a wait list for it, quite frankly, you could set up pre-orders for it and collect dollars from however many you want to sell, pending that your vendor has the quantity that you need. You could be way up off of your initial investment simply because you made a strategic decision versus an emotional decision. And that's another thing for another day. But a lot of times we're making emotional decisions rather than strategic decisions. So it's not a case of, oh, this girl is popular and that's why her business is so successful. Because again, I want to reiterate, y'all, I am quite frankly and quite literally a nobody. Okay, on the internet, I'm a somebody. And I want to say the internet. In the boutique world, I'm a somebody. In the regular world, I am nobody. I don't have a lot of friends. I can count them on one hand. My family is not super supportive of my business. They're not shoving dollars down my throat. I didn't start this business with a lot of money at all. Quite regular life. I look like this every day. Baseball hat, t-shirt, sweatpants, child, feet ashy. They ashy right now. I'm so regular, and yet I just figured out the process of making money online, in all honesty. And I want y'all to know that I am not joking. Like, these are people that I have literally, some of these people I know, some of these people I've never talked to a day in my life. So point in case in point. This is from, I think, Deloria. Girl, my feet be ashy, okay? This is from Deloria. Deloria said, okay, $1,000 a day challenge. The goal was 1K by noon. Not 1K by the end of the day. She said 1K by noon. I hit it by 11 and I started at 7:30 a.m. She hit it by 11, meaning she had 13 more hours of the day to go. $1,000 by 11 o'clock. These are real conversations that I have in my DMs all the time. Why? Because they learn what they should do with their business. Let's look at another one. So that's Deloria. This is Kasha. So Kasha took the $1,000 a day challenge last year. She said, we hit another 1K day and I'm beyond excited to see this growth. Didn't even believe it was possible when opening. I set my goal at $169 per day. What a comparison. My girl was like, I was going to be okay with making $169 per day. She was like, we hit another, not her first, another $1,000 a day. $1,000 a day. She eventually shared another post with me after the challenge, and she was like that every weekend or every like Friday and Saturday consistently had become a $1,000 day for her and her. I think she had a business partner at the time. $1,000 a day, simply because they learned what they were supposed to do in their business. Let me give y'all another one. Hold on. This is Danica. Danica said, do the work, ladies. Okay, because y'all know people always got people. That's one of my pet peeves about the internet, right? Everybody's like, do the work, do the work, do the work. And y'all be on the other side of the computer, like, or on the other side of the phone, like, what's the work? Like, what am I supposed to do? I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. What's the work? That's what I do. I teach people what the work looks like. So she said, implementation is key. Take action, study your numbers, and document what you do daily. So notice she didn't say, drop your hours every day. Make sure you do this. She said, study your numbers and document what you do daily. That is literally how you learn what you should be doing in your business. Not what I did, not what she did, not what she's doing, not what she's selling. Document what works in your business. Document what happens in your business. Look at your numbers and use them to make strategic decisions. I'm not one of them people that will be like, all right, guys, so I have a 5-step plan that is guaranteed to make you X amount of dollars. That's not how e-commerce works. It really like grinds my gears when people are like, I'm going to give you my proven system for doing X, Y, and Z in e-commerce. E-commerce don't work like that. Like, you can have frameworks for things, but there's no framework that can guarantee you an amount of money in e-commerce at all. I promise you. Let's read another one. I'm going to read Emma's because Emma is my girl. So Emma said, I have had a $1,400 launch day, increased my email list by hundreds, and definitely gotten comfortable with tracking my data. I ended the month with $4,000 in sales. I've learned that my drop model works, and if it ain't broke, then don't fix it. So we talked about having a process for when you drop things. She said, I learned that my drop model works, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. She said she had a $1,400 launch day, and she made $4,000 for the month total. $1,400 out of the $4,000 that she made came from one singular day. Singular. Emma's also the community manager in the Boutique Academy now. So Emma was a student of mine inside of the accelerator, and I trusted her so much that I gave her a job. So yeah, okay. Let's read one more. Let's see if I got one more good one. Let's read this one. Tiffany said, I have been having $1,000, $2,000, and even $3,000 days since completing the challenge. May was my biggest month, and June has already surpassed May with a week to go. I'm trying for a 6-figure month in July using these same strategies. My girl said, listen, I've jumped beyond $1,000. At this point, I am going to hit 5 figures in a week. We might as well shoot for 6 figures in a month. Why? Because I have a process. I understand what I should be doing. I'm not unclear about it anymore. She quite literally is like, it work. Just like Emma said, if it ain't work or if it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know? So I really want you guys to know that, like, making money in your business, making the amount, I'm going to even go out on a limb to say making the amount of money that you want to make in your business is not impossible. It is simply a case of you understanding what you are supposed to be doing. It is simply a case of you understanding what e-commerce is, how it works, and what is important to this industry. I know that there are tons of people on the internet that will tell you everything under the sun that they think that you should do to make $10,000 next month, $20,000 next week, whatever the case may be. I really want y'all to know that what works for her may not work for you. And even more so if they are not in e-commerce. E-commerce is its own situation. There is no such thing as a universal standard when it comes to business. Everybody's business is different. Like, I literally have students, tons of them, that sell the same things as me. We sell them differently. We buy different colors. We have different prices. We have different processes for how we drop the merchandise. And guess what? We all make 5 figures a month. Every single month, selling the exact same things to different people. Sohei isn't here. I remember one day, I was just telling my husband yesterday, I remember one day she told me that one of her customers sent her a picture from my boutique and asked her if she would buy something, buy like that product to sell at her boutique. And she was like, no, just go buy it from her. That's my friend. Like, we actually like each other over here. We actually like, we don't care. We don't care that you selling the same thing. Like, do you? Absolutely 100%. I'm also help you make money if I can. Like, I'm not gonna cut you short to make mine. I send people to my students all the time. I be like, mine sold out, baby, and I'm not getting no more. I'm not getting no more. Go over there. Guys, listen, there is so much money to be made. E-commerce has, I want to say there's like, oh, I forget what the number is. I want to say it's like $4.6 trillion that they estimated would be generated in the e-commerce industry this year. 4.6 trillion. That's a lot of monies. Okay, that's a lot of zeros. So that has always been like a thing for me. I just remember like there's 8 billion people in the world, something like that. 8 billion people in this world. I got 31,000 followers, and I've been able to make over $1 million with my 31,000 followers. And I think I have like, I don't know, 15,000 email subscribers or something like that. I've been able to make over $1 million with that. Like, I'm okay with sharing information with you. I'm okay with you making some sales as well. I'm okay with you having your $1 million year as well, selling the same things. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. As long as you did it with integrity, as long as you did it with a process, as long as you did it without trying to cut somebody else short and all that good stuff. Like, baby, let's all make money. Let's all make money. I'm going to answer some of these questions for you guys in here. But before we do that, so you may have guessed, I'm doing the $1,000 a day challenge again. However, this time I'm doing it live. So the last time that we did it, the lessons were pre-recorded, but we just had like a community for us to talk in. But I'm going to do it live this time. So 5 days straight of you getting to be coached by me live and in person on Zoom. And we are going to go through 5 of the most important areas of your business that impact your ability to make money make at least $1,000 in your business. Now, again, we talked about the fact that like you can't make $1,000 per day if you don't have $1,000 per day worth of inventory, obviously. But the bigger part of this challenge is that you understand what it takes to be able to control your revenue. That's what is most important to me. So we are going to meet 5 days straight on Zoom, and I'm going to tell y'all all the things. I've updated some of the actually, I've updated a lot of the slides because I always say that when I get smarter, y'all got to get smarter. So I've updated the slides. We'll have our private community for us to chat and all of those good things. And y'all, there is so much money to be made, period. Okay. So and the link is in my bio too. So if you don't want to leave the live just yet, that is totally fine. It is in my bio. There is no number that is right or wrong for anything in anyone's business, y'all. I literally get emails from some business owners like 10 times a week, which is insane. Let me just say that. But they like, I need this money and I need this now, and I'm going to send you 10 emails to get this money. And it's not a case of them trying to be greedy or even trying to get on your nerves. It's a case of, hey, you didn't open this email the first time, I'm going to send it again. Like literally, I have logged into my email inbox and typed in a brand's name, and it'll be like, you received 3 emails from them on this day, 3 emails from them on that day, 3 emails from them on this day. Guess what? I didn't open none of them. They were like, hey, we saw that you didn't open this email. We're going to send it again. No such thing as too much or too little, in my opinion. It is literally, am I meeting my goal? Nope. Let me do some more. Let me send it again. Let me say it again. Think about my conference, for example. Y'all think I'm going to stop sending emails about the conference? Baby, we going to send an email up until the day. Okay, if you live in Chicago, I can segment out every person. Honestly, truly. I can go into my email list and segment out every single person that is in Chicago and say, hey, if you're in Chicago and you want to come to this conference, here's a coupon code. Pull up today. I'm not going to be like, we didn't make the goal, y'all. We can't do nothing about it. I'm going to send another email. I got one more post bill. This is what Arisa said. Wow. So much learned from just day one. Janice, you really know how to communicate and break down the knowledge and strategy for us. I am so grateful. It's me. I'm your girl. I'm such a jokester, y'all, but I'm so serious. Like, $29. The challenge is $29, if anybody's wondering. Because some of y'all ain't even went to look at the page. Let me say that before we get off of here. The challenge is $29. This is 5 days of in-depth coaching with me for $29. These people be trying to sell y'all a 7-page ebook for $29. I'm giving you 5 days of my life for $29. $29. Okay. I would love to see you in the room. I would love to help you understand what it takes to make consistent money in your business, more specifically to make $1,000 per day in your business. So before we go, I'll tell you guys what we're going to talk about specifically in the challenge. So in the challenge, we are going to cover 5 topics. So each day we're going to cover a different topic. So the first day we're going to talk about growing the size of your audience. Second day we're going to talk about increasing your website traffic. Third day we're going to talk about lead generation, so growing your email list. Fourth day we're going to talk about inventory management. Fifth day we're going to talk about strategic pricing. Okay, guys. Well, I will save this live. If you guys have any questions about anything, let me know. Send me a DM. The link for the challenge is in my bio. And I hope to see y'all in the room on Monday. Peace out. Until next time.